Garland in the corner. He's got it. Feed Stamps. Pow with the running in. Mitchell shakes. Up to the basket. And thunders it home. Oh! Mobley throws it down. And Allen blocked the shot at the rim.
Welcome to the Chase Down Podcast, part of the Cavs media family. I'm your host, Justin Rowan. The Chase Down is presented by Fubo, the official streaming partner of the Cavs. Watch over 350 channels of live sports and TV, including FanDuel Sports Network without cable. There's no cost and no commitment. Try for free at FuboTV.com/Cavs. It was a night of nostalgia in Cleveland as LeBron was back in town. The Cavs were rocking the retro jerseys. And the best thing about those jerseys is back in the day, every time that they were wearing those jerseys, the Cavs had the best small forward on the court. And that was true once again as Jaylen Tyson stole the show. Joining me today is a man who always steals the show, Carter Rodriguez. How you doing, buddy?
You're an animal. What an opener. Man, you know, I actually want to start the podcast in a weird way by talking about some bad news. The fact that the Cavaliers lost Evan Mobley to a calf injury. He's going to be out a couple weeks per the report and per the release from the team. And I had a different feeling this time than I've had after the various injury setbacks that this team has had this year. And it was like this just quiet confidence that I was like, this version of this team is so much better equipped to weather the storm, to punch above their weight from a talent perspective. Because they've been playing together. They've been playing hard. They've been consistent in their intensity on both ends of the floor. They've learned from their mistakes and reacted well. So, like, it was kind of the perfect game for me, dude, to see them show up and just kick ass. They have a bit of a shaky first quarter. The offense is muddy. The Lakers are just cherry picking the hell out of them. With these kind of deep seals for their big, strong wings. And you're like, okay, let's see how they answer. And then they just blow the doors off the rest of the way en route to a 129-99 victory. And it's like, I just felt very justified for not feeling crazy doomy in the wake of Evan getting hurt. Because, like, this team does feel different than they have been to start the year.
Well, not just different to how they started the year. I think this is one of the examples where something you see in the regular season might translate to the playoffs. I really hope that it doesn't, actually. But in the past, when the Cavs have been shorthanded, right, like when Darius basically gets reduced to being a spot-up shooter because of the toe injury last year, and teams are able to really pressure Donovan the way that the Lakers did to start this game, right? They're doubling him. They're blitzing him. They're trying to make it tough for him, even on the catch. Nothing was there was no freedom of movement basically for Donovan to start this game. We saw that in the past in the Orlando series. We saw that at times against the Pacers. And it basically, what was asked of Donovan was go out there and hit tough shots, wear the team down, attack the basket time and time again, and create opportunities for yourself. The Cavs freed up Donovan because of the balanced attack by having someone like Jaylen Tyson step up. Jarrett Allen, I thought, was instrumental to freeing them up in the first half as well. Naquin Tomlin giving them effort, Sam Merrill coming in and bending the defense and having gravity, right? Like that really freed them up and got the offense unstuck. And then you go to that third quarter, and I thought the defensive intensity continued to ramp up. I think the biggest thing might have actually been just keeping them in the half court a little bit more. Like, I think the Lakers' offensive first half output would have looked a lot worse without those outlet passes from Luka and LeBron. But the defensive intensity stayed there. They continued to play hard even though they had the lead, and they started stacking successes. And I think that's what we have seen from the Cavs really for the last 20 games here. I was looking at it, Carter. We're now 20 games removed from that Hornets win where we were saying, hey, this could be the start of something. That looked like the Cavs, how we remember them. They were playing the right way. It's probably not going to be seamless, but this feels like it could be the start of a run. Since that mark, over the last 20 games, the Cavs have the third highest win percentage in the NBA. Like, that matters, man. That is basically half of the sample size of this season that we have. And it's just another one of those reminders that we said when things weren't going well. These seasons are incredibly long. Like, you are going to have highs, you're going to have lows. It's really, really important to not be prisoner in the moment and look at the overall sample of what this group has done.
Yeah. And, they are proving those that have been patient right. And, I had my concerns, I mean, we talked about it. Like, there are teams that run their course, and you never know when it's done till it's done. And, so if you were already skeptical, or maybe if you were feeling really hopeful and then were very disappointed by the start, like, it's not a crazy leap to get to, but like, I think
I had moments of concern with that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I certainly did.
We've seen it with so many really good teams.
Yeah. And, but I thought about this, someone kind of mentioned in our Discord that despite all the bumps and bruises, you really never saw this team turning inward at each other too negatively. It didn't feel like I'm just gonna get mine energy ever really infected the team. And like, you see some other teams struggling through the season, and you hear all these reports of discord and lack of connection with the coaching staff and X, Y, and Z. And it's like, even when the Cavs were, flirting with being a 500 team, a cool
no
10 games
article.
Yeah, there was no tea getting dumped, and us learning about all the gripes everyone had with each other. It did feel like the team just collectively were like, yeah, we're playing like crap. We need to play better because we're better than this. And we're really seeing them reap the rewards of sticking together. And again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, Justin. Like, this is where your culture gets tested. And I think the Cavs are showing that they were able to pass that test. And just absolutely took it to the Lakers. That's 3 games in a row with really, really great defensive performances. That's 2 straight games holding a team under 100 points. The third game of this 5-game win streak, which, by the way, is the longest of the season. They held Orlando to 105. So the defense is really, really ratcheting it up. And the fact that even without Mobley, they were so darn good, so connected and together that they were able to help make Luka Doncic have to work for his points. LeBron had 11 points on 10 shots and 6 turnovers, man. Like,
that's staggering.
Like, I know it wasn't his best game, but man, did it just go to show you what this Cavs team can do when they play together.
I'm really happy that I have never seen that version of LeBron wearing a Cavs jersey. Right? Like, I know people are speculating whether or not this is his last game in Cleveland, whether he's going to return for a minimum and do a farewell tour. If he wants to do that, I'd be more than stoked. Like, I think that would be the coolest thing in the world. But there is a part of me that likes sitting here and saying the last time LeBron was in a Cavs jersey and wasn't the best player on the planet might have been 20 years ago, right? Like, I was probably in high school, right? Like, that's kind of a very, very cool feeling to have, and helps preserve some of my memories. But I totally agree with you. And I want to think back to something that I said, when things were bad, before this 20-game stretch that the Cavs have had. I said I felt very confident that there was going to be winning streaks, that we were going to have really good stretches. I also said that after that really good stretch, there is probably going to be another rut this season. I expect this team to fall off at some point. I expect them to have another fun streak. Like, that is just the nature of how long these seasons are. And it's possible that with Evan Mobley, the timeline they provided was 1 to 3 weeks. You're going on a West Coast trip. This is maybe one of those spots that, hey, we're playing really, really hard, but we're low on bodies, right? Like, when the Cavs were blowing out the Lakers, I'm sure Kenny wanted to go to his bench. There was just no options he could go to. Yeah, there's no options he could go to take his foot off the gas. You still have Naquin Tomlin out there playing at 110 miles an hour. You have Tyrese Proctor, who has been shooting the hell out of the ball and just continues to look better and better. Thomas Bryant was playing well, right? Like the garbage time felt like they were running it up unnecessarily, but these are guys just playing well right now. So it's possible that they face some adversity here, but I have a take for you, and I want to see if you agree with it. I think all season long, this team has done a good job of responding to adversity. I think that they have, when things were bad, they wouldn't let losing streaks get out of control. They kept their composure. I thought they would bounce back from some bad losses really well. What I think has improved is they are responding better to success. I think that was one of the biggest issues, that they would not stack success. When they would go up 12, they'd take their foot off the gas. They'd have a bad loss, a good win in response, but then they would drop a game that they shouldn't drop. I feel like this team is starting to regain kind of that internal motor, that hatred of losing and the joy of winning. And it feels like they're playing with that joy again. And this Cavs team, I know you've said it a million times, when they're at their best, when they are playing to their identity, this is a team that plays with a lot of joy.
Yeah, it's not a nasty, ugly team that likes to put their foot on people's throats. They're like the Warriors, of yesteryear that, had their own version of nastiness. I think what the Cavs did to the Lakers was plenty nasty today, but the spirit behind it is this kind of vibe raising joy, and they're
similar
playing
to the 09 Cavs.
Yeah,
like the last time we saw this team in those jerseys.
Remember the team intros and how fun they were. I think that is what this team is. I think it's a great take that they're playing better through success and stacking successes through the stretch. Not being well, we played 3 good possessions in a row, we get one off. It's just oh wait, no, it's actually more fun if we play a 4th good possession in a row, and a 5th and a 6th. So I think it's a really good point, and that's its own kind of maturity. Yep. That you just wondered if this team was going to be able to consistently muster, and they absolutely have. And it was really fun going back, and I know we went long on Kobe Altman and his development yesterday or on Monday, but it just feels like you have to go back to it, because it was even funny because Richard Jefferson, who obviously got to pull the sword out at the beginning of the game, which was great, and Tim Legler, they were just kind of talking about they were just gushing about Naquin and Tyson and they even mentioned Proctor, being excited about Proctor, and they were the Lakers don't really have any players like those guys. And it's not, and I do think it goes to show, to kind of reinforce the point I made on our last podcast, where the team isn't, the front office and the development staff isn't comfortable with where they are in their status as contenders. And because it's not like the Cavs have had better, draft capital than the Los Angeles Lakers over the last couple years.
Connect was picked 3 picks before Jaylen Tyson, and Naquin Tomlin was undrafted in that draft class.
Yeah, and Proctor went 49, and you just kind of have to give it. It's nice to give credit, like we did on Monday, to the front office, but it's easier to be impressed when you can counter it against a group that doesn't have what you have, and that and sure, there's luck here involved. I like Dalton Connect as a prospect. He was supposed to go high.
I'm still not out on him. I'm not out on him. I think he just might need a different environment.
Sure, but point is, there's luck. There's, for as many Naquin Tomlins that turn into Naquin Tomlin, there's a lot of guys who never figure it out. Remember Billy Preston, the super high ranked prospect that the Cavs took a flyer on, and it's he played a few games for the G League team and then went away. so there is luck here, but I think you're showing that like over a long stretch of time, the process beats luck. And that's why the Cavs have 4 or 5. The Cavs were more banged up than the Lakers going into this game.
Yep.
By a significant margin, honestly. And the reason the Cavs won this game is because they found a Jaylen Tyson, they found a Naquin Tomlin, they found a Tyrese Proctor, and that's how you win by 30 points, despite being much worse off to start the game.
Yeah, it's having a process and sticking to it, I think, is the most important thing, right? Like you don't want to become prisoner of the moment and neglect any of the things that got you there, right? Like I think that speaks to the Cavs' recent play, right? Like understanding, hey, when we're at our best, when we've had success over the last 4 years, this is how we play. We're not a team that takes our foot off the gas. We are a team that counts on our depth. We can play hard in the minutes that we're out there because we know the guys behind us are going to play hard, and we can get a rest in the fourth quarter, right? Like I think sticking with your process, understanding what is putting you in position to succeed is so important. And that's why I acknowledge things like Zoom Workplace, Carter, because teams move fastest when everyone's in sync. Zoom Workplace keeps meetings, chats, documents, and more together so your work flows like a perfect play. Keep work moving and zoom ahead with Zoom Workplace. I do want to get to Jaylen because I feel like we talked to him. Before we get to Jaylen, again, 1 to 3 weeks for Evan Mobley. Let's get some housekeeping out of the work. Kenny did say before the game that he talked to Evan, and Evan was saying that he was feeling way better. I honestly, when I read the description saying, hey, he felt some tightness in the game, we gave it an MRI to be safe and revealed the strain. Like that's different than, oh, I strained this in a game, I'm hurting, and then you get the MRI, right? Like I think this is probably something that players would have played through a couple years ago, and the league just understands that these calves are something to not to be trifled with, right? So I feel good about that. I wish Evan was playing, obviously, but we know that he's a quick healer. It's 1 to 1.5 weeks, maybe. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that he responds well, but trust the training staff there. Other news is, we got a new two-way signing here in Tristan and Aruna, who we both really, really liked in Summer League. Someone that we thought might get that opportunity. So that obviously means that Chris Livingston was waived. But it's a fun opportunity for someone that showed something in Summer League, kind of similar to a Naquin Tomlin, where the athleticism really jumped off the screen.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see. The fact that they're doing what we asked them to do, which is cycle their two ways.
Yep.
You want to see that that kind of diligence done. By the team. They give Livingston a shot. It doesn't quite work out the way you want it to work out. So you move on. You try someone else. And that's what we are asking this team to do at the end of the day. We're asking them to be, diligent in their roster construction. And maybe Inaruna makes it, maybe he doesn't. But the whole point is to take the swing.
Yeah. And, playing well for the Charge. Quite a few guys actually playing pretty well for the Charge, so that's a lot of fun. But one guy who played well for the Charge and is now killing it for the Cavs is Jaylen Tyson, who, again, he upped the assist, Carter. We talked about how he got 4 assists every single game. He got 6 tonight, 26 and 6, 8 of 15 shooting, physicality, the maturity. I have one question, man. You probably have a better understanding of this, the logistics that goes into marketing, advertising, all that sort of thing. You think there's enough time to change that Core 4 poster across the street to a Fab 5? Can we get that going?
Fab 5. Wow.
I think we kind of have to, right?
He's playing his way into my heart, if nothing else. Really, it keeps going up in levels where it's like, oh wow, he's capitalizing on an unbalanced defense, and hitting his threes and making good choices and defending pretty well. And tonight, it's just oh, he's running offense. He is running offense. He is the one making the defense react and creating opportunities for others. Found Jarrett a few times. Jarrett's been in need of a partner on this team. Like Darius has been so consistently someone who finds him and gets him the ball on the roll and gives him lets him get his shot volume up. That I think Jaylen found him 2 or 3 times today with really, really nice feeds.
Mm-hmm.
So like I just feel like he keeps going up a level. Only 1 turnover in this game, which has been his
impressive.
bugaboo.
The Lakers have length, man. Like that, that they are a disruptive defense.
Yeah, he said that he wants to be an all-star one day. That's a goal he has. And I won't lie, the first time I heard it, I was like, okay, buddy. that's a great goal. Yeah. But like the more you see it, the more you go and like, yeah, I mean, 6'6" wings that can put up 26 and 6 in less than 30 minutes. And do it.
I gotta admit, man, our buddy Joe in the Discord, he said it and I pushed back on him. Like, okay, like let's dial it back just a hair. I'm like, this it's really fun, but he is older for a second-year player and opportunity, all that kind of stuff. Like he's just really, really rounding into form. And I think the most encouraging thing is what he does well and how he succeeds. I don't think it takes away from anybody.
No,
right? Like,
dude, it's crazy.
He like really complements Donovan really well. He plays really well off of the bigs. He's got tremendous chemistry with Darius as well. And like,
I have a weird Donovan point.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone makes Donovan look like a better playmaker than Jaylen. Like their partnership is so strong offensively that like I think Donovan is a pretty good playmaker, not like an elite like get you into your offense point guard. I've said more than once on this podcast I'm happiest when he's finishing plays and he has a Darius next to him.
A shooting guard.
Yeah, like, exactly. Yeah. But the way that they are able to consistently get the defense into rotation or just generate wide open, floaters, mid-range, rim attack, whatever it is for Tyson off of that 2-man game. Like every now and again in basketball, 2 people just are like spirit linked and they just play so well together. And like for anyone who ever played pickup a bunch, it's one of the best feelings you can ever have is when it's like, oh, this guy's on my team. Like, and even if like, and like, not like I was ever taking over pickup courts, Justin, but like, like it's like you're playing with your buddy and you understand each other and then you punch above your weight because you understand each other so well. That's what it feels like Donovan and Tyson have together. And it's really cool because it's not just Donovan elevating Jaylen, it's Jaylen elevating Donovan.
And I want to give credit both ways in this relationship because I think Donovan deserves credit, one, as a leader, because I think that's part of it. But think back to the summer. What was the story? That Jaylen Tyson and Tyrese Proctor seeked out Donovan. They went to his house and the 3 of them were working out together. They were practicing together. They were training together. And Don came away from that saying, these guys are legit. Like, Jaylen is going to earn a spot in the rotation this year. Tyrese is legit. He's going to earn a spot in the rotation this year, right? Like, he's going to be someone for us. And I think that type of chemistry and that type of extra work pays dividends. And I think the nice thing, I think it's really, really important. We talked about this on the last podcast, how it takes a little bit of pressure off of what Evan needs to do as a playmaker.
That was a great point.
And I think you saw it tonight where Donovan was really bottled up to start the game. Like when I'm watching a game and it's one of the ones that we have to do a post-game podcast, like I can't help but think of what I'm watching through the lens of what I'm going to be talking about on the podcast, right? So you're seeing the Cavs offense struggling and I'm saying, well, this is one of those tough nights where they're really putting a lot of pressure on Donovan. We don't necessarily have those outlets. And then Jaylen stepped up and he was that outlet. And I think having someone that can both be that outlet, that has that playmaking sense, that makes the right play in those spots, but can also be really aggressive offensively and create those second chance opportunities. I think that's even more important with this team, because when you think of the other two most important players in the score, in Darius and Evan, those are guys that like to make the right play, right? Like Darius has gotten more aggressive. I don't think he's turning down shots the way he used to when Donovan first came to town. But if Tyson's rolling, like Darius is just going to find him, right? Like especially with the way that he's shooting from three, like he's going to create a lot of opportunities with them. That's someone he can run two-man game with very easily. Evan is going to make the right play in a lot of these situations. And when you have two guys that are inclined to always make the right play, sometimes I think that put too much pressure on Donovan to be that initiator and kind of that aggressive scoring force. You have one more guy kind of taking a little bit of that responsibility. We're just, again, we are building a top 5 player in the aggregate here. We are moneyballing our way to being a contender. And I think if this is to work out, Jaylen Tyson being this type of player gives them more margin for error along the road of trying to achieve that goal.
Yeah, I can't believe how important this guy is. You know, one of my favorite things to do, especially when talking about, this iteration of the Cavs as, in terms of their floor as being just a very competent team that is fun to watch, that plays for each other, that, if they don't get to their ceiling, if they don't make a finals, if they don't win a title, my comp for them has been as a floor is the grit and grind Grizzlies. And I said when the team still stunk that I would be fine with that outcome for a few years, especially after winning a title, after, doing the high stakes thing for 4 or 5 years with LeBron. I just didn't want to stink. I didn't want to be, the King's East is what I think I called us back then, where it's like, just year after year after year of being lost in the wilderness. But I think about that Grizzlies team and think about how hard they tried to find a small forward. Like, how many guys they cycled in to try to find the perfect guy that could complement both their bruising front court with Zebo and Gasol, and
tried to make Rudy Gay happen. Then they had to move him for spare parts. There was
Chandler Parsons. There was Tayshaun Prince that was much older, and it just never was that fit like a glove guy. And Tyson's just kind of been that fit like a glove guy for them that does just about everything these guys need. I still have questions about, the defensive end in the highest level, but my confidence in him is just unbelievably high because of that presence of how he plays the game, how instinctually he plays the game. That makes me feel like it's a little bit more, I don't want to say matchup proof or whatever, or playoff proof, but Kenny said it himself. He's I think this guy is a playoff type of contributor. And I think it's that presence that makes him that.
That's the thing. The guys that do think the playoffs ultimately are a small sample. You are going to have stretches where you don't hit your shots, right? And I think sometimes people will attribute that to genetics and all that kind of stuff. You have the clutch gene and all that. Jimmy Butler was outscored in a playoff series by Bryn Forbes, right? Stuff like this happens, right? The guys that are playoff performers are the ones that are able to contribute in a variety of ways and make an impact even when their shot isn't falling, right? Whether that is through playmaking, whether it's through defense, second chance opportunities. And Tyson just checks so many of those boxes that I understand that as, having some, at least a legitimate reason to hope that it's going to translate to the playoffs. And I'm with you on the defense. I think he has taken such strides on the defensive end of the floor that I don't want to put a cap on what he's capable of doing. But I think this again goes to the argument of putting him in the starting lineup, because as of right now, defense has not been the issue for this team in the playoffs, in the play-in, in the postseason, whatever the case may be. That has never been the primary issue. It's been offense primarily. If you have Jaylen Tyson out there with the starting lineup, even if you don't have confidence in any of the perimeter guys to shut someone's water off, I think you can have confidence in them being able to maintain the shell defensively with Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen back there. And then you have Max Strus and DeAndre Hunter coming in off the bench, who individually in perimeter isolation situations have graded out to be very good defenders in those spots, right? Like you can go to that in those lineups where you don't have as much backline help. So from my perspective, I think that's yet another reason to continue to kind of ride with him as a starter, because Max is going to need to be brought along slowly no matter what. Why not continue to explore the space and see what you can do with Jaylen?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think he is fast flying up the ranking of most important Cleveland Cavaliers. And
we haven't had a lot of good small forwards, man. Like we've been Cavs fans and we've been talking about this team for so long. How many small forwards have we had?
A lot.
How
lot,
many
brother.
Good ones have we had? Like Max
Not a
can
lot,
play
brother.
small forward. Matt, and that's the funny thing. Like you talk about the Grizzlies example, and we have experimented with some options. Max Strus, when he's in the middle between the core, that lineup rips. Like that is one of the best Cavs lineups that we have. It was fantastic last year. It's been good playoffs as well. Like that is a really, really good lineup. DeAndre Hunter, even though he struggled individually and we brought him in to fill that role, that is still one of the Cavs' best lineups this season that's played over 100 possessions, right? Like even with him not playing well, that lineup has played really, really damn well. If you have two viable options that now have gone from possible solution with these lineups to these are our sixth and seventh man or guys that we can kind of have coming in off the bench, I think you're in a luxury position here, particularly if, DeAndre breaks out of his slump, which he seemed to have broken out of his shooting slump to some extent in the second half.
Yeah, you got to give some love to DeAndre, who has had by every metric a nightmare season.
One of the strangest I've ever seen, frankly.
Misses two games with a sore knee, I want to say it was. And then comes out.
There was illness in there as well, maybe.
Yeah, and then comes out in the first half and still has a really hard time. And you're like, oh man, I was hoping the break would kind of loosen things up. Then he hits 3 straight threes in the third quarter, gets to the rim, hits some middies, and it's like, man, that please, like that's all we need, brother.
Yeah.
So you just gotta hope that kind of unlocked a little something in his brain, and we can see him get off the schneid, because with everything else going right, with Tyson playing the way he is, with Dean starting to find his form a little bit.
Dean's been so good. Dean had 2 finishes in each of those Magic games. There was the one in the game in Orlando where he finished underneath the basket. It was like a reverse layup that I did not think he had the angle on. That was insane touch. And he had the coast to coast as well in traffic. Like Dean is contributing in a variety of different ways. And he's showing like a little bit of, I don't even want to say playmaking, but I think actually maybe playmaking is the right term for it. But like he's rounding out his game a little bit more beyond just the great defense that he provides. I think Dean's been really awesome. And I'm laughing because what you're saying is true, but you're saying with everything going right, when the camera cuts to 3 of our starters from last year's 64 win looking fresh on the sideline.
Yeah, I felt silly saying it myself, but
it's true. They're playing really well.
Yeah, they really are. And so if Hunter can find himself, if the team can get healthy, like when they're already playing and they can maintain the habits they're showing during this 5-game winning streak, 7 of 8, by the way, like that is when this team starts to become the title contender we thought we had at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Right. And I think the floor is once again raising with this group, right? Like I think when we were talking about, hey, we have to reassess what our expectations are right now. Like I'm bumping up my expectations a tier, right? Like I understand that there is still ground to cover. I think there's things for them to iron out. The scouting report for the Lakers was very clearly, hey, let's try to kind of get some mismatches in transition here where We have a center or one of our power forwards is matched up on Craig Porter Jr. in transition. So we'll have Luka and LeBron throw those passes. Most teams don't have two of those guys that can throw outlet passes like that, but it's very clear that, there are still some Achilles heels when it comes to this Cavs team. But I just think that the overall effort level has been there for a long time now. I think the breakdowns on defense, I'm not noticing those massive record scratch, holy crap, who did your controller batteries die type situations like I did before. And I think it goes back to what you said at the start of the podcast, which is this group playing shorthanded has actually had some time to play together now. There is more chemistry. There is more continuity with this group. The reps earlier in the season are starting to pay off now. And I think it makes it easier for us from an evaluation standpoint, which of course is my highest selfish wish on my list behind let me have fun watching this team. I want to have fun watching this team. And my number 2 goal is give me some meat on the bone here that I can analyze. Like, give me some experimentations and new things to talk about. And it feels like they are delivering on both of those things right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. Last thing I wanted to really hit on before we go, I don't know if you have anything else. Actually, we should talk about Jarrett at some point too, because he was awesome.
Yeah, he was really good.
Isn't it fun watching national guys fall in love with Naquin Tomlin? Like, whenever we're on national TV, it's like without fail, by like the mid-third quarter, Quan does another absolutely outrageous thing, and the announcers just start gushing about them. Like, Legler was talking about how Tomlin should have a rotation spot even when the team's fully healthy, and it's just really fun.
And Legler's someone that is grinding the film too, right? So it's not the first time, but it's just one of those things of, hey, this guy that I've enjoyed in film sessions is now doing really fun stuff in front of me, and I'm just loving it. Like, first of all, Naquin Tomlin to the dunk contest. Let's make it happen.
God.
Jaylen Tyson's going All-Star Weekend. Naquin Tomlin should be there too. I could not believe how high up he got.
That window was ridiculous.
He's all arms and legs. It is absurd watching that guy out there. He is so much fun to watch. And the 3-point shot is still coming around. I will admit, when it kicks to him in the corner, it's still a no, yes, particularly, time and place when the shot is going up. There was a time early in the Magic game, I think, when the Cavs were down 10 and he hit one of those shots where I was sitting there thinking, does this shot really need to go up right now? Oh, thank God he made it. But it's clear that he's been putting in the work on that, right? Like,
it's clear Kenny wants him to keep shooting them.
Right. And how many times in the past, when you talk about role players that the Cavs have cycled through, how many times has it been an issue where guys are just turning down shots, where, hey, we worked really hard to get you an open shot, you turned it down, and therefore this half-court possession is going to end with us taking a tougher shot? Naquin is not that guy. He is a process over results guy, and someone that sticks with it, right? Like, when I did the interview with him, I said how my favorite play of the game for him was when he hit the side of the backboard off the 3-point attempt, but he was already following it up. He wasn't letting a mistake impact his mentality on the next play. And I think that is one of the most valuable traits you can have for a role player, because you're going to get finite opportunities. You're not going to get the same number of opportunities as Donovan, Darius, Evan, and Jarrett to go out there and make mistakes. So if you let a mistake lead to 3 or 4 other ones, you're going to be sitting on the bench. Naquin Tomlin's motor and drive and willingness to keep at it is an attitude that I think is really important for this team to have in the mix. Just like Jaylen Tyson's attitude, I think, is really additive to the overall, value of this team.
You know what's pretty crazy? Naquin has played 26, 21, 15, 25, 24, and 29 minutes in his last 6 games. If you had told me he would ever play that many minutes in games, like if you were telling me he would hit those thresholds over the course of a season, I would have been pretty surprised.
If you told us that in our season preview, I think the two of us would have sat in silence for like 2 minutes wondering what the hell happened.
29 minutes. That's a
is
lot.
nuts. Yeah.
You know, like I remember last year when we were like campaigning for Ty Jerome to be sixth man of the year, and we looked and he was playing like 20 minutes a game. Like Naquin Tomlin is getting 20 minutes a game in the month of January.
This group's fun, man. I really, really like it. We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, but obviously, you know, we got the top end guys that we're invested in, but kind of having this young crop backing them up of, you know, obviously Tyson, Tomlin, Craig Porter Jr. has been playing so well. I'm invested as hell in Tyrese Proctor. Like, I really think we got something there. Craig Porter Jr. has been playing great. Like, that's a really fun group. Like, when after LeBron left for LA, there were seasons where we did not have that many guys to care about. Forget that many guys beyond like the top 7 of kind of your payroll. Like that is absolutely nuts. And again, it is a credit to this front office.
Yeah. Interesting and fun is a rare combination for this many end of bench guys or the guys that we were expecting to be end of bench at the beginning of the year. What fun. By the way, Jaylen is he's going to be a media darling. He said, this is Donovan Mitchell City now. And had to be like, oh, I'm just excited, gassing up my guy. But and the double point after the LeBron offensive foul draw, the fact
what's it like to cover LeBron? I fear
no man. Let me run through a wall for you, Jaylen.
I love when like, oh man, he is willing to say anything. He is so much fun. Just
a very pure dude. I think there's a reason Donovan was so drawn to him. Going into the season and going through the off season. I just think that energy is so infectious. You know, like
we felt it on media day. We talked about that like right after the interview. We're like, wow, like he was really engaged. Seems like a really nice guy. Like you saw him obviously like kind of moving around and talking to people after that. But I remember that being our takeaway. I think it was like the first commercial break after we were like, man, like he's a really, really engaging guy.
Yeah, proper authenticity in this media landscape in this league. It's hard to find, you know, and for good reason. These guys have to guard themselves, and they're, it can be an unforgiving place to say the least. But, you know, when we as fans get a little glimpse into that authenticity, it's a really, really easy thing to root for. And he is just, both for his on-court contributions and his off-court contributions, quickly becoming one of my favorite Cavaliers.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I hate that we did this to Jarrett. He does need a shout out. We'll give him some generic praise here at the end of the podcast. I actually thought it was kind of fitting that I'm going to call them the TNT guys. I know they're on ESPN. But you know, Chuck and all them were talking about how Jarrett is that barometer kind of for the team, right? Like when you feed him, he becomes very active, right? Like make sure that he's getting his touches. And I think what you said earlier about Jaylen having good chemistry with him and finding him, I think that's just one more kind of level of security of someone out there is going to be looking for him to get him the ball. And I think whether it is, you know, Darius getting bottled up by a defender or Donovan when he's in scoring mode and the tunnel vision comes out a little bit, just having one more connective piece there to find him and get him going. Hopefully that insulates you a little bit more, right? Because that is going to be the ultimate thing, right? Like it's very nice that we are once again for a quarter of this season are winning at a 70% pace. Like that is fantastic. We are playing like one of the better teams in the NBA. But the ultimate goal that we're trying to get back to is being a contender, coming out of the Eastern Conference and giving yourselves a chance in the NBA Finals. That type of insurance and redundancies with responsibilities on both offense and defense, I think, is so important.
Yeah, man. Nice to be having fun with this season again. Nice to be looking forward to these games and feeling like, man, I wonder who's going to step up tonight. So the longest road trip of the season starts next. They do 5 straight on the road. So your post game pods for the Chase Down are gonna take a week off.
Hell no, man. I'm tired after these.
I know
those ones.
Before we say goodbye, I will do my perpetual disclaimer. If the West Coast trip doesn't go the way we hope, and they don't just rattle off 5 more wins, if you find yourself getting grumpy, you're probably tired. You're staying up till 2 a.m. to watch basketball.
I love that disclaimer every time you do it. Our next podcast will be on Monday. So we will be going live in the evening then. Obviously, as you said, we will not be going post game, but big thanks to everyone tuning in and joining us post game. We appreciate you on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe. Click that notification bell so you know when we're going live. If you're listening via podcast and you want to support us, leave us a rating, leave us a review, subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, and help cook those books. If you want to be part of Chase Down's exclusive Discord chat, send a screenshot of the review to chasedownpod@gmail.com. However you choose to support us, we really do appreciate it. Make sure you guys are staying safe out there. Until next time, go Cavs.